Plane travel is one of the safest forms of transportation today, but some flights ended in disasters so terrifying that they shocked the entire world. From aircraft disappearing without a trace to deadly mid-air explosions. These are 8 plane crashes that changed aviation history forever. 8. Swissair Flight 111. In 1998, Swissair Flight 111 was traveling from New York to Geneva when the pilots suddenly reported smoke inside the cockpit. What first seemed like a small electrical issue quickly turned into a massive fire, spreading through the aircraft systems. The pilots tried to make an emergency landing near Nova Scotia, Canada, but they ran out of time. The aircraft crashed into the Atlantic Ocean, killing all 229 people on board. Investigators later discovered that faulty wiring and flammable insulation played a major role in the disaster. 7. United Airlines Flight 232. United Airlines Flight 232 became one of the most famous emergency landings in aviation history. In 1989, the aircraft suffered a catastrophic engine explosion while flying over the United States. The explosion destroyed all hydraulic controls, leaving the pilots with almost no ability to steer the plane. Using only engine power, the crew somehow managed to guide the aircraft towards Sioux City, Iowa. The plane crash-landed and broke apart on the runway, but remarkably, 185 people survived. The bravery and skill of the pilots were praised around the world. 6. Pan Am Flight 103. 1988, Pan Am Flight 103 was flying over Lockerbie, Scotland, when a bomb hidden inside the aircraft exploded midair. The Boeing 747 broke apart instantly, sending debris falling onto the town below. All 259 passengers and crew on board were killed.
Disaster at Christmas. Pan Am 103
along with 11 people on the ground. The attack became one of the deadliest acts of terrorism involving an aircraft and led to major changes in airport security around the world. 5. Germanwings Flight 9525. Germanwings Flight 9525 shocked the world in 2015. The aircraft was flying through the French Alps when the captain briefly stepped out of the cockpit. During that moment, the co-pilot locked the cockpit door and deliberately began descending the aircraft toward the mountains. Passengers reportedly screamed as the plane rapidly lost altitude. Within minutes, the aircraft crashed into the mountainside, killing all 150 people on board. The tragedy led airlines worldwide to introduce new cockpit safety rules. 4. Egyptair Flight 990.
Egyptair 990 here.
Cabin crew, take a position. Approaching 3000 up to flight level 230.
Roger.
In 1999, Egyptair Flight 990 departed from New York heading toward Cairo. Hours later, the aircraft suddenly entered a steep dive into the Atlantic Ocean. Investigators recovered the black box recordings, but the exact cause of the crash became highly controversial. Some investigators believed the crash was intentional, while others disagreed completely. All 217 passengers and crew on board were killed, and the mystery surrounding the disaster continues even today. 3. ValueJet Flight 592.
Today marks the 20th anniversary of the crash of ValueJet Flight 592 in the Florida Everglades. The plane went down about 11 minutes after takeoff from Miami International Airport on May 11th, 1996. It was headed for Atlanta. All 110 people on board were killed.
ValueJet Flight 592 took off from Miami in 1996 for what should have been a routine flight. Just minutes after takeoff, a fire broke out inside the cargo compartment due to improperly stored oxygen generators. Thick smoke quickly filled the aircraft, making it impossible for the pilots to control the situation. The plane crashed into the Florida Everglades only 10 minutes after departure. All 110 people on board lost their lives. The disaster exposed serious airline maintenance and safety failures. 2. Malaysia Airlines flight MH370.
Planes go up, planes go down. What planes don't do is just vanish.
In March 2014, Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 disappeared while flying from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing. The aircraft suddenly vanished from radar without sending any distress signal. Massive international search operations began across the Indian Ocean, but very little wreckage was ever found. All 239 people on board disappeared without explanation. Even after years of investigation, MH370 remains one of the greatest mysteries in aviation history. 1. Alaska Airlines Flight 261. In 2000, Alaska Airlines Flight 261 experienced a critical mechanical failure while flying over the Pacific Ocean near California. The aircraft suddenly became difficult to control as pilots desperately tried to stabilize it. Passengers on board experienced terrifying moments of weightlessness as the plane entered a steep dive. The pilots fought until the very last seconds, but the aircraft eventually crashed into the ocean. All 88 passengers and crew on board were killed. Investigators later discovered that poor maintenance of a stabilizer system caused the disaster. These aviation disasters changed the airline industry forever. Every crash revealed weaknesses in safety systems, pilot training, or aircraft maintenance. Because of these tragedies, modern aviation became far safer than ever before. But the stories behind these flights remain unforgettable even today.